Chewie, is that you? Chewie! Wait, I can't see, pal. What's going on? Luke's crazy. He can't even take care of himself, much less rescue anybody. A Jedi Knight. I'm out of it for a little while. Everybody gets delusions of grandeur. All right, pal. All right.
So, JP.
Yes, Ronnie.
Wait. Cookie Monsters?
Little Ronnie.
Elf?
Little Ronnie.
Oh, Watto. Hey, it's Watto. Watto joins us.
Watto joins us. It's me, JP, and Ron.
And Ron.
And
Watto. Watto's our guest tonight.
Because we were sitting down tonight for Watto's Cracker Barrel.
Watto's Cracker Barrel. Yeah.
What is Watto's Cracker Barrel, Ron?
Well, it's basically, we don't have an idea for a show, and we're just going to talk about anything.
Little bits and bobs, odds and ends.
No, we're actually wanted to do kind of this show on purpose, just talk about the odds and ends of Star Wars universe, things that's going on in the world today that doesn't really fit into a themed show like we usually do.
We've had a lot of community activity lately. And wanted to address some of that.
Yeah, we actually
just wanted to let our hair down for once, Ron.
Yeah,
relax.
People are starting to talk to us.
Yeah,
we're not just sitting here talking to each other. People are kind of finally engaging with us.
Yes.
We have our first call in.
That's right.
We should maybe play that.
Let's hold off. Let's first tell everybody where they can find the podcast at delusionsofgranular.com.
Yes, or you can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/swdog.
Or say hi to us on Twitter at swdog77.
Or call us at 651-33-SWDOG. That is 651-337-9364. Call, leave us a message, and if we like it, we will play it on the show.
Yeah, and we have some listener feedback tonight coming up here a little bit, and we'll have to get this number on the website.
Yeah, we have to get on the website. Yeah. Sure.
Website.
So should we play the call we've gotten?
Well, Ron, I think that's a very nice thing to do, but I would like to start off the show with a somber note.
Oh, right.
Yeah, unfortunately. First off, I'd like to do a preemptive correction.
Yes.
Next week's episode, we're going to talk about the passing of Gary Larson. Gary Larson, in fact, did not pass.
Wait. You're getting it mixed up.
No. Gary Larson, beloved Far Side creator, is still alive.
No, I know, but that has already aired.
That's already aired?
Yes. No. This... Oh, yeah, right. I'm getting mixed up.
Yeah.
Folks, we record ahead, and...
We record in a time vortex.
Right.
It's very hard to tell where things are going and where they stop.
Right.
But the good news is Gary Larson's alive.
Yeah.
And he's still drawing, and he's just a beloved creator. Glenn Larson, however, the beloved producer, has passed.
Oh, yeah. Glenn Larson, who has created Battlestar Galactica,
Knight Rider,
Sheriff Lobo.
Oh, yes.
BJ and the Bear.
BJ and the Bear. It Takes a Thief, a personal favorite of mine. A lot of great shows. I will someday eventually think that his name's Gary Larson, but it's not. It's Glenn Larson.
Right.
He has passed.
We know. Yes, we're correcting a mistake that will happen in the future.
But Ron, can you edit these episodes so they sound different?
I could, but that takes time and effort.
Right.
Yeah. And JP, why are we talking about Glenn Larson so much?
Because we have an upcoming Sheriff Lobo special.
That's right. Maybe.
Why
Folks,
don't you call in and tell us if you want to hear a Sheriff Lobo special?
Here at SW Dog, we actually have like I'm sure many of you folks out there, broader horizons than just Star Wars.
Yes, well, as we've discussed in the 70s show, there's many, many things that go into the blender that make Star Wars.
Yeah, so, we always try to tie things back to Star Wars, but eventually, occasionally we will veer off and talk about, the passing of a Glenn Larson, whose work is very important to pop culture and
who worked with a concept artist named Ralph McQuarrie.
Right.
For a TV show called Battlestar Galactica. So,
yeah.
I mean, there's a connection right there.
Right,
hey,
right.
Hey. So, we just want to say, beloved Glenn Larson, R.I.P. Look forward to some kind of Glenn Larson-related episode coming up in the near future.
Yeah,
perhaps.
sure.
Now, to continue our Death and Misery roll call, we have another passing, Ron.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
This is terrible. Right before the holidays, too.
Yes.
Oh, Mike Nichols.
Mike
Nichols. Mike Nichols is a famed director of The Graduate.
Right. That's right. Yeah. And regarding Henry.
Yeah, who killed Virginia Woolf.
Yes. I've never seen that. It's a sacrilege. I know it's sacrilege.
Neither have I. But you said regarding Henry.
Oh, that's right.
Right? I mean, you said that because, Harrison Ford was in that, right?
Well, actually, I said it because there's a cameo by a director.
Oh.
Named J.J. Abrams.
Oh. Well, J.J. Abrams wrote it.
I'll be damned. I only thought he was the mailboy.
He is only the mailboy.
No.
Folks, we wanted to bring up Mike Larson because there is a J.J. Abrams.
Mike Nichols.
Mike Nichols. Oh, my God.
Not to be confused with Nichelle Nichols, who's also still alive. We're counting the days.
Mike Nichols. Yes, he directed Regarding Henry,
yes.
And as we said, J.J. Abrams wrote and had a cameo in Regarding Henry, as well as Harrison Ford was a star.
Mm-hmm.
And we bring that up because in the future, we will be bringing you a special J.J. Abrams profile episode.
Yeah, we're working very hard on that. We've got a craft team doing all the research for that. And,
so we won't get into too much of that tonight, but we are on our research right now of all things J.J.
Okay, Ron, a couple more notes on Misery Row. We've got beloved comedian Tracy Morgan will possibly never be the same after his horrible auto accident.
Right, and we can tie that back to Star Wars, too.
Oh, how so?
Well, on 30 Rock, he played basically himself.
Yes.
Right? And, I think on the pilot episode of 30 Rock, there's a scene where he's, crazy in traffic, waving a lightsaber, I believe.
Perfect.
There you go. So now you go. Well, Tracy Morgan, you're now part of the Star Wars universe.
Honorary member of Star Wars universe. Thank you, Tracy Morgan, for all the laughs. I hope speedy recovery. And last bit of news on this bit is Bill Cosby, serial rapist? Question mark or exclamation?
And that connects to Star Wars in no way possible.
Well, I'm sure there was a Star Wars reference on that show. I'll be honest with you, Ron, I was never a fan.
Of Bill Cosby?
Yeah, I never listened. I did listen to those records, but they didn't let me laugh. I don't really. The bits never got me. I think I probably would have liked I Spy, but
there was one big. He had one big stand up on HBO when I was a kid that everybody loved. It was kind of like Eddie Murphy's Delirious. It was Bill Cosby's.
Eddie Murphy's Delirious is so dirty though.
Right. Well, it was the flip side of the coin.
Huh. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Yeah. For me, first 30 minutes of Ghost Dad, the Jello commercials, and Fat Albert, which I actually liked the movie. So
right.
So that would be what I enjoyed of him.
So what we're basically saying now is with this controversy,
yes,
Bill Cosby probably won't make it into a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be in Episode 8.
Right. So. Maybe a Tarantino movie, but not a Star Wars movie.
Well.
Or maybe, you know what? I know where he'll end up. He'll be on The Expendables.
Oh, yeah, that's where bad people go. Okay, well, I'm glad that we covered off the Death and Misery Row. Moving right along, why don't we build ourselves back up with a little bit of listener feedback, Ron?
All right,
let's roll that tape.
Roll the tape.
Long-time listener, first-time caller. This is PJ Moline. Just want to say I love the show. It's the only Star Wars podcast I listen to. It is fun to hear the alternative points of view from other Star Wars fans in and out of the realm of Star Wars. I love all the little sidebar points you make out and all the little references. I literally just finished watching some Dune. and you made a reference to it not an hour after I finished, so keep up the good work. I love it. Take everybody's water.
All right. Well, thank you, PJ.
Yeah, there you go. Our first listener caller.
Indeed. That's PJ and I went to school together years and years ago. And if I recall, in 6th grade, he can draw a fantastic Gambit from the X-Men.
Nice.
Yeah. Dune. Don't worry, there's plenty more Dune references to come. Sidebar points forever.
Yeah.
And water to you as well, my friend.
Water on.
Water on. So there you go, folks. Listener feedback, it works. Call that number.
Yeah.
What was the number again, Ron?
Oh, my goodness. 651-33 SW dog.
Wow, that's pretty good,
Yeah.
Ron. Yeah, 651-337-9364.
Nice.
Everyone should call in.
Yeah,
Let
call
us know
in,
when
leave
your,
us.
Sheriff Lobo episode. Okay.
All right.
So back to the matter at hand.
Well, do we want to talk about our other feedback?
Oh, actually, he brought up a good point about Dune.
Oh, okay.
Because speaking of the other feedback, transitioning right into that, Dune, it turns out, actually came out a year after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, we were talking last episode about how David Lynch didn't want to do Return of the Jedi because he had such a bad experience making Dune.
Yeah.
Well, he hadn't made Dune yet, so he couldn't have.
Turns out I was full of shit on that one.
Yeah,
folks.
but he didn't want to make Star Wars.
No,
he didn't want to do it. And we watched I was going to say we watched a creepy video of him on YouTube,
video. Yeah.
But any video of David Lynch is creepy.
Creepy and endearing somehow, though.
Yeah. So we
Although
watched.
I think that was one of those
we watched
TM
a
somehow.
normal David Lynch video.
Yes.
That happened to be creepy.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so he tells this great story of how he went to Lucas Ranch to George summoned him there, right?
Yeah.
I want you to direct the next movie.
And it was a really funky story too. It wasn't just hey, come meet me here. It was he went to a place. There was a car waiting for him with keys in it.
Yeah.
He got in the car.
Yeah.
There was instructions of where to drive.
Right.
And then he goes and he meets up with him, and Lucas is
Lucas shows him props.
Yeah, and is check it out.
These are Wookiees.
This is the thing.
Yeah.
And then after that, they're he's hey, you want to ride my Ferrari?
Yeah, Lucas. This is 1982, 81 maybe.
And this is when Lucas
is driving around in a Ferrari.
Yeah.
And according to David Lynch, Lucas is short, so he could barely see over the steering wheel.
Oh man, I would love to I was googling all day today because looking for a picture of George Lucas in the '80s in an '80s Ferrari.
Yeah, folks,
if
you could get your hands on a picture of Lucas in his '80s Ferrari,
yeah,
we would love to see pictures of that.
Well, because we were looking at pictures today of Return of the Jedi. You'd send me a whole link full of pictures.
Yeah.
We should probably put that on the website.
We probably should. Yeah.
But there was a picture of him and Richard Marquand, right?
Richard Marquand, the fill-in director for Jedi.
And I realized that Return of the Jedi era George Lucas is just a great look. He just looks like a blown out, burnt out cokehead director. He looks like, and I don't think he did coke. That's not an allegation. He looks like, if you've ever seen the film True Romance, he looks like the
producer at the end.
The producer at the end,
yeah.
yes.
The producer that made Coming Home in a Body Bag 3.
Yes, right, exactly, yeah. I believe he was also in Death Wish 4 or 5.
Probably.
Just saying. But he has that look about him, and then you know that he's hanging out with the Eagles and Linda Ronstadt. It's just
we haven't proven that yet. Folks, if you can prove that, we knew he dated Linda Ronstadt, but if you can prove that he hung out with the Eagles too, that'd be great. Or the Eagles. Yeah, so we wanted to kind of correct ourselves there.
Yeah.
Dune was not...
that was my bad.
Yeah, that was not...
That was
But still kind of...
It's an anecdote that's out there, though. I regurgitated something I'd heard without fact-checking. Just goes to show you guys are always keeping us on our toes.
Yeah.
That's why we have the community.
That's right.
Make it all better.
That's right. So thanks for the Facebook listeners out there that were chimed in on that. We appreciate politely being corrected and not being told we're complete morons, even though we are.
Yeah, that's nice. Someone also pinged you, Ron. You had said that George Lucas was put in the hospital with ulcers for the stress of Empire.
Yes. Now that I may be able to prove if I really was had enough energy to go back into the Secret History of Star Wars book that I've been reading.
Our crack team is trying to hack those medical records as we speak. So
we know that Lucas was sick, got sick during the making of the original Star Wars.
Yes.
Let's put it this way. There was a lot of stress on him during the making of Empire. I'm sure if he didn't go into the hospital, he was definitely experiencing stress-related symptoms. It was not a pleasant time for him to be in charge of Star Wars.
Yes. So I think that takes care of our corrections, listener feedback, all that good stuff. So
and keep chiming in with any other thoughts you have on stuff we're talking about, anything that you think we're getting wrong, we're getting right.
Yeah.
We're more than open to listener feedback.
User feedback.
Use feedback.
Us.
Yeah, use us. Use us, abuse us. That's right.
That's the motto. Speaking of, we're little housekeeping here. Let's pull back the curtain a little bit. You can see behind the scenes of how the podcast, how the sausage is made.
Yeah. So we've been steadily building a listener base.
Yeah.
We're happy to say we've been growing.
Yes.
We have not been turning listeners away, which is good.
Yeah.
Maybe some have been going away, but we've definitely been gaining more than losing. So we appreciate all the people that have been tuning in every week, and we hope to continue to bring you new content weekly.
Yes.
Into the new year and beyond. We feel like this is truly an exciting, interesting time to be a Star Wars fan.
I'm growing at the thought of it.
Yeah. I don't want to know. So, folks, let us know what you guys want.
Yeah.
We're trying. Like I said, we're trying to build a community. I've talked to some of the listeners out there on Facebook. Guys,
Ron's really out there as a real ambassador of the show.
Yeah, we're not out there to try and insult you or tell you you're not a true fan if you don't like this and only like that. Like, if you're a Star Wars fan and you say you're a Star Wars fan, fine. You can be a Star Wars fan however you want.
That's the password.
So we just want to build a community around that, and if you guys are looking for anything in particular from us, if you have suggestions for shows or ways that we can provide better ways for you to communicate with us. Do we need to build a message board on our site instead of Facebook?
Ron, it's 2014. That's over.
I don't know.
See, Ron, it's the Reddit now.
I know.
We have we ran into
Do we need to be
trouble.
on Reddit more? Because I don't know how to be on Reddit.
Oh man, those they pinged me pretty bad. I was promoting us too much on their self-promotion. They're pretty hard on it. But we have diligent listeners who are doing all that business for us. What I'm more wondering, Ron, is how do you feel like it's going? I mean, we're coming up on our 25th episode. That's our quarter century, thing.
Yeah.
So how do you feel like it's been going? The goal when we started out was we were a couple of lapsed fans. When I met you and I would spend hours talking shit about Star Wars.
Sure.
Talking shit about the prequels.
Yep.
Talking shit about that stupid cartoon they had running at the time.
That's right.
The Clone Wars.
The Clone Wars.
Yeah. That's right, folks.
Yeah.
We were on the dark side. And then slowly but surely we found the light.
Yes, we did.
So, and this whole thing's kind of just about us rediscovering fandom.
Yes.
You've been doing your online, your social media stuff.
Yeah.
The podcast.
Which has been awesome. It's been awesome to kind of talk to people out there. So, have we... how do you feel we've been doing?
I feel like we're kind of growing. Like you said, we're growing.
Yeah,
it's
right.
Getting better.
Right.
And we keep doing it week after week. God damn it.
I think that we've definitely we're better at recording now. I think that I do try to listen to every episode before it goes out. And I would say in the last 10 episodes have been pretty good. Listenable. We hope that we're providing something that everyone wants to listen to. I'm usually entertained every week when I listen to the episode we record. But going back to some of the earlier episodes, I'm a little bit hestant to do.
I know, right? The further back I go, the harder it is to listen for me.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I'm wondering, specifically throwing this back to the listeners. We're asking a lot of you guys this week. But we never ask for anything.
No. Except for reviews on iTunes.
Yeah, except for reviews on iTunes, which I've really eased up on after the meltdown.
Right. But 2015, we're going to start asking for money.
Yes, yeah.
No, that's not true, folks. We're not going to do that.
Firstborn, birds, etc. But yeah, so I guess what I'm trying to get at is who is this audience?
Yeah.
What do they want? Do they want? Do they like the really hardcore themed episodes like the George Lucas versus Kirshner episode? Do they like the more loosey goosey stuff?
Right.
The more sober, the more drunk ones.
Exactly. Yeah, because honestly, as I look at kind of the stats on our episodes, like I said, we have been growing, but it's really hard to tell. Like, it's hard to predict which episode, when we talk about something in particular, how it's going to do.
Yeah. Can you imagine what George Lucas must go through, or must have gone through?
Yeah, right. No kidding. The Lucas versus Kirshner episode just went, live, and that's what's currently running. By the time this airs, it'll be the last episode. But did surprisingly well. Like, I didn't think it was going to be as big of a one that was going to, kind of take off, but it does. Mistakes and all. So
perhaps the fans like going granular.
Yeah.
All right.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so.
Well,
but let us know, like I said, if there's anything you feel we're not covering well or want to hear, let us know. We'll definitely take your suggestions into consideration.
Okay. Well, I think that's enough of that for now.
All right. Let's talk some Star Wars.
Let's talk Star Wars.
Yeah.
Okay. So, first up on the list here, there's a lot of kerfuffle going on about the new trailer, Ron.
Oh, yeah, the trailer.
How
so
will
we're
it be
getting a
released?
new trailer. So, first of all, it was a trailer description was leaked. Oh, my goodness. Trailer description, a teaser, not even a trailer, a teaser.
I got briefly excited about this, and then I pulled back and I was like, what the fuck? Why am I getting so excited about this?
Because it's Star Wars.
Okay, well, yeah, all right, fair enough. But I don't know. It's just like, when can I just react to something?
Well,
it's like, I don't think this hype is serving anyone.
Well,
ultimately, because what happens with hype is I start composing my own trailer.
Here's
in
the
my
thing.
mind.
Here's the thing: is it's helping the sites like Slash Film,
these
like
horrible
making
sites.
StarWars.net, who can pontificate and speculate. Not that we don't speculate, but they're speculating over press releases and
bullshit. Literally, one of the articles I read today was, I wonder how they'll release the new. Like, they said that there has been a note that they will not release it with The Hobbit, and so then they went on the list of, well, would they release it with another film? What if they don't release it with any film?
No, wait.
What if
it went as far as this.
Yeah.
Disney said it will not be attached to a film. It will be bigger. Right?
Oh,
that's all they said. Very, very vague. It will not be an attachment. It'll be bigger. And then Slash Film goes, oh, well, if it's not attached to The Hobbit, will it be attached to this? Or will it be attached? No, it's not going to be. They're going to come up with some kind of different way of releasing a teaser. Like, I don't know. They're going to implant it in our brains, and we're going to wake up one morning and be like, oh, I know what the trailer looks like.
It's going to be like that scene in Man of Steel where all of our monitors, our iPhones, TVs, and everything else just start flashing the trailer.
Yes, because Disney can do that.
Yeah.
The mouse can do that. The mouse has the power.
Apparently, right? I mean, these YouTube videos keep disappearing. It's just like, good Lord.
Right.
Making up videos and stuff are starting to just disappear.
I mean, if you two can put their new album in all of our MP3...
Rectums? Is that what he said? Because that's what it felt like.
if they can put all...
Jesus.
If they can put all their
Came out of
album...
someone's rectum.
Into all of our MP3 collections, then Disney can release this trailer so we all get it without it being attached to a movie or...
Anyone out there who doesn't know what we're talking about, Apple and YouTube made some Faustivian pact where U2's got all their stuff, their new albums preloaded on the new OS.
Yeah, if you have an iTunes MP3 collection and an iTunes account,
or just an iTunes account, right?
Yeah,
With anything.
Yeah, if you have an account on iTunes, you now own a U2 album, whether you like it or not.
Something my mother made me swear I would never do. Okay, so trailer stuff. I mean, it's just another big question mark. I'm starting to get a little fed up with that business,
right?
But
1 minute teaser. Basically, the only line in it is "Wake up,
wake up." So that's the theory. We'll see. I know. I thought it was cool. We talked about this because we talked about this earlier. The way they released the trailer for the Phantom Menace, they put it before and after Meet Joe Black, so all those poor saps had to sit through the 3-hour film.
I didn't. It wasn't on Meet Joe Black for when I saw it. It was on The Waterboy.
Well, I think that's a much better choice.
Well, it's
although I kind of like Meet Joe Black, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Meet Joe Black is a better movie than The Waterboy.
One's got the Rosa Bulk, though.
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, you also have Adam Sandler with just it's one of his strange voice movies.
You might think that's the most exhausting one, but Little Nicky.
I wouldn't go near that one.
Little Nicky, which is has the honor of being the first or second film I ever saw drunk in the theater in high school. So there you go.
Before you go forward, a little speculation here.
Yeah, you're right. Let's speculate. You're right.
Let's just not go through the facts here. Let's speculate.
I keep trying to move the show along because we're going off to go see Gilbert Gottfried tonight, and I tried desperately to find a way to shoehorn him into the show, but
I can't seem to figure out how to not until episode 8.
Yeah, yeah, right. I'm sure. The New Hope. New Hope.
Yeah. So, what do you think? Like,
about the trailer?
Yeah, like not about the trailer, but about the releasing of the trailer.
About the releasing of the trailer.
They say it's going to be something bigger. Like, what could be bigger than having it attached to a movie? Like having it on a TV show. That's not really bigger, is it?
A double-page spread in every American newspaper.
That's not a.
No one's reading the newspaper,
and it's like e-paper, and you can press play.
No, I mean bigger. I mean, I don't know, because that's the thing is, what do they mean by big? It's weird because all these different companies have different ideas of what media is. We're seeing when you hear the Marvel people talk, when you hear the main Disney people talk, you hear Lucasfilm people talk, everyone seems to have a different idea of what's big.
Well, I think...
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And we'll talk more about that in a little bit.
But I think it's also, it's people like you and us.
Yes.
You and I, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's probably it. They're going to release it all to the podcasters. And we're going to tell everybody what it's about.
We'll draw a little stick figure.
Yeah.
You'll all get to see it.
We'll describe it.
Yeah. No, you and I, who are have the finger on the pulse of pop culture,
certainly,
right?
Yes,
and I'm sure, folks, if you're listening to us, you probably are the same way. Maybe not so much as us, maybe more so than us, but
probably more so.
You're very in touch with what's going on in pop culture.
Yes.
So I think there's kind of this unspoken word that what Marvel's doing over in this corner. And what DC's doing over in this corner, and what The Hobbit's doing over in this corner, and what Hunger Games is doing over here, and all these different properties are doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and maybe I'm a little biased here, but again, this is SW Dog, so I think everyone is probably a little biased towards this. I think we all kind of think that although all those other properties are huge, Star Wars is bigger than all that, and when it comes along, it's going to steamroll everything.
I agree,
right?
And
so when they're saying bigger, they mean it's going to sweep across everything. We talked about this before. Marvel made a huge media event out of their lineup for the next 12 movies through 2020.
Yeah, release 6 logos one day.
Right, right.
Star Wars drops its typeset.
Star Wars is. They're saying Star Wars is going to be bigger. So,
so you're saying it might be in terms of reaction rather than how they roll it out.
No, I don't. I mean, I think that whatever they have up their sleeve is going to be a bigger splash than Marvel just announcing what their lineup is for the next 15 years.
Well, let's keep in mind, this is, I mean, theoretically.
I mean, how can, like, I mean, they put it on the table. Yeah. It's going to be bigger.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
And maybe I'm reading too much into that, but, like, bigger is, like, okay, well, Marvel has released, you know, the names of 6 movies or whatever. Mm-hmm. And we're going to be bigger than that with one movie.
Well, yeah. I guess what you got to keep in mind here is we're talking about Disney, which is a company that's actually changed copyright law.
Sure.
They have changed, like, how IPs are treated, how they slip into public domain or not.
Right.
You know, I mean, like, this is a company that can really flex muscle if it wants to.
Right. That's what I'm saying is, like, have they flexed their full muscle yet? Or are they, like...
Yeah, it's like,
you know...
It's like what's going to be as a televised event, and Obama is actually going to draw it.
Well, I think someone said that on I think I read a comment somewhere. It's like, well, is it going to be attached? Again, attached is, you know, the word they're not using, but attached to, you know, the season finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Is it going to be attached to, you know, Obama's next speech?
Well, see, that's the thing. Is like it's
people said no because people, you know, Star Wars is bigger than Obama.
Right. Well, I mean, they wouldn't want to be partisan.
Right.
So, yeah. I mean, I really have no idea in terms of what they're going to do. I think it's probably not going to be. I don't think it's going to be amazing. I think they're going to drop it probably with something having to do with ABC or something else.
Here's the other thing that I got out of their little announcement today was the fact that they, like, prior to this, everyone was speculating because the one of the assistant directors or whatever on Star Wars tweeted out that it was going to be attached to The Hobbit.
Right.
Which comes out December 17th.
Yep.
Almost a year and a day to the release of
how the tables have turned, Hobbit.
The Force Awakens, right?
Yes. How once Lord of the Rings was the new usurper of the throne, and they were just regularly slamming Star Wars films into the dirt with quality.
Right.
And now...
But in their announcement today, and again, I don't even know if this is an official announcement or not, but what was announced today was it's going to be bigger, and it may or may not be attached to The Hobbit, but it won't debut there.
Okay.
Because
that's the thing. They have to attach it to a movie because that sells tickets.
Right.
Yeah.
So by that, what I get out of that is we're going to see it before December 17th.
I think we're going to see it before the end of the year.
I think we're going to see it around Thanksgiving.
That's probably true. I guess it's hard for me to get worked up about the trailer that's not out yet.
Teaser. 1 minute.
1 minute. The teaser.
1 minute
that's
teaser.
Not out yet. It's like, It's like, you know what? If you're so confident in your product, show it to me. That's what I say.
I think they're just waiting.
Yeah,
I think they're waiting.
All I know is hype can make a lot of backlash. So,
well, that's the thing.
You know,
I think
that's my thing. Is that, like, we've already seen it in JJ's career with the second Star Trek.
Oh, don't even get into JJ's career yet.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Yes.
We've seen it in this franchise with the prequels.
Yes.
Hype breeds backlash.
Yes.
I don't need it.
A year out is a long time for a lot of backlash.
It's a long goddamn time for us to get that excited over the announcement of a teaser.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now, on to things that have been released and been put back on the shelf already.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
everyone's favorite cartoon.
So, Rebels.
Rebels
is going on holiday break.
Holiday break,
holiday break.
Well, those actors get awful tired.
Well, it takes a lot, the wrists are getting tired drawing all that CGI.
Yikes.
What do you think about that? So we've seen, half a dozen episodes of
if the show
Rebels?
was really, really solid and I was really confident in it, I would be like, this is no big deal. A lot of shows are doing this right now.
Right.
And, like, probably they've got an infusion of budget and they're going to up the game a little bit for the second half of the season, right?
That's
fine.
Okay,
but,
go on.
They're going to try and make the animation a little bit better But and I'm sure they are. But I think it was because it was negative feedback. I think it's...
Well, okay, so here's my thoughts on this.
Yes.
I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I agree that they are not happy with the reaction thus far.
Yep.
And so they're going to kind of put it on hold for, about a month.
Mm-hmm.
And a little over a month, actually.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not going to come back until January sometime.
Uh-huh.
Right. And they're going to
what can you do in a month?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, in a cartoon?
I don't know. Okay. So
takes time.
Here's the thing: is, are we overthinking this because it's just a cartoon, right?
Well, ultimately, look at that CGI Batman cartoon Cartoon Network had.
The Batman Beyond.
No, the CGI one.
I thought that was Batman Beyond.
No, Ron, that's years ago.
No, I thought there was a new one, the CGI Batman Beyond, coming out.
I don't know about that. Maybe. See, once again, your finger's much more on the pulse than mine. But
I don't even like Batman.
They had a cartoon just a year or so ago that it was a younger Batman. Alfred had guns. Batman had a young Asian sidekick. It was actually, and they used very non-traditional villains.
Okay.
It was actually pretty cool, I thought.
All right.
But what they did was...
Sounds like the Green Hornet.
It kind of was-ish, and it was good.
Okay.
But, the thing about it was there was some negative feedback, and it didn't fit with the overall brand plans.
Right.
And they aired 3 episodes, and they shelved it for a while, and then they aired a couple more, and they just put it on the shelf and made it go away.
Okay. So
I'm saying that's a possibility.
My thinking of, it's just a cartoon isn't really valid because there is some precedent for this type of thing happening, even if it's just a cartoon.
Yeah, things go away sometimes, Ron, if they're not good.
Yeah.
And also remember, there's no such thing as just a cartoon or just a comic book anymore because everything's equal value.
Right.
The books, the comics, the movies, it's all canon, Ron.
Right.
It's all canon.
There's there's been a little bit of backlash on the internet about that, but we'll get about that.
A little bit of backlash in my head too.
I think we're all feeling the same way about that. But
you knew nothing golden lasts.
Right. But before we go on to something else, let's finish our thoughts on Rebels here for a second.
Right.
I think that the reading between the lines here is there's possibly some retooling going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the things that the fans, viewers, Star Wars geeks, whatever, we're all surprised by is it's only going to be a 13-episode season.
Oh, well, I don't know. That's first season.
No, I mean all of them. I think every season's only going to be about 13 episodes.
Well, it makes sense if it was like an hour or 45 minutes.
Right.
That's 22 goddamn minutes.
Right.
They can hardly tell a story.
Like the Clone Wars was, 25, 26 episodes a season.
Yeah.
Right. We're getting half of that for Rebels, and they're not really. The story hasn't really been progressing. They're very. What's the decompressed?
Yes.
It's a very decompressed story where
very decompressed.
Where things aren't moving forward. We don't even know if these people are rebels. They just seem to be.
We don't know how they're affiliated with the rebellion.
Yeah.
Rebellion, the Empire's been around 15 years. We've learned that. I've been paid very close attention to every piece of granular knowledge because I'm so ready to learn more about this. But
they seem to be very hesitant to.
A lot of the same characters.
Things out.
Yeah, a lot of the same characters. We're seeing the same Empire people over and over again.
Well, they haven't.
But learning no depth of them.
Yeah.
And it's you introduce Callus and you introduce the Inquisitor around the same time. So I'm why do I give a fuck about Callus?
Right.
And Callus shows no personality.
Right.
And it's just okay. Well, I was going to try to say we need to do a Rebels Roundup episode now.
Yeah.
Since
right.
now there's
I haven't even
unexpected
finished
hiatus.
it. I haven't finished it.
Well, that was the thing, man. Empire Day happens. That's episode 7. It's 8 episodes out now.
I lost count. I don't know. It feels like I watched 5.
The penultimate episode prior to the break was Empire Day.
Empire Day, and then Gathering Forces, I think, is the last one.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. And Empire Day was the first glimmer of hope for me for this. I was like, hey, you know what? It wasn't the first glimmer. It was kind of. I equated it to the episode of the Clone Wars where Padme's ex-boyfriend shows up, and this and that in the first season of Clone Wars, because that was for me the turning point when I was like, oh, this is actually starting to get really good.
Yeah,
and
so there's some real conflict. There's some real story development. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. And there was a lot of cool stuff. They kind of made an oblique reference to Lobot, which was cool.
Yes.
I dug that.
Right.
And then the second episode, it just kind of goes nowhere.
Right, which...
And there's no payoff. I was like, are they gonna reveal who's?
I haven't watched it yet. I haven't really gotten around to it. No, that's all right. No,
we'll save a Rebels roundup. Long story short, if Rebels goes away, I'm not going to cry. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. I hope they can find a way to exploit it.
We think there's some scrambling going on in the background, behind the scenes.
Scrambling everywhere, Ron.
Yeah.
Because this is going to transition well to the next topic.
All right.
Because this whole thing, like this whole unified, what do they call it? A story group?
The story committee.
The story committee? Yeah.
I am not a committee.
Yeah. You are now. It's just that, like, I don't think it's half as unified as we thought it was.
Well,
all these books, regardless of quality, Dawn of the New Empire Jedi, whatever, what's that book called? Dawn.
A New Dawn. Yeah.
A New Dawn and Tarkin. Tarkin's obviously a superior book.
Well, it's not.
No,
I'm losing steam. Yeah, I'm losing steam.
So I feel like both these books were already in production, right?
Seems like it.
And then they were like, make it canon.
Make it canon. Yeah.
And the Star Wars comic books seem to have nothing to do with anything.
Well, okay, so they're saying everything counts.
Right.
Everything is equal.
That's right.
Right.
It's the word
but
of
it
God.
appears to be, from what we've been given so far, and we haven't been given the big enchilada yet, the movies. Yeah. But it appears that some things are going to be more equal than others. Right.
Talking about like Wookiees and
no, I mean like I'm guessing that all of the attention really is going to be on the movies, and the quality is going to be thrown into the movies, right? And that Rebels, nice try, keeps Star Wars in everyone's mind's eye.
Oh,
if
shit,
you
we
have
need some new cartoons.
If you have Disney XD, like if they really put on ABC. I heard this one on the internet the other day. If they really wanted, or maybe it was from you, if they really wanted to, if they were really confident in Star Wars Rebels, put it on a channel that everyone has.
Why release it?
Right?
Yes.
Like nobody has Disney XD.
I get that show through various nefarious means.
Right.
And or maybe I pay for it through iTunes.
Yeah, but no, they're not saying it's on iTunes. They're not even advertising it that way.
No, it's not even being pushed.
No.
And I think you made a good point to me recently. I think you saw on an article that there's a lot of problem with the toys. The toy manufacturers don't
That's the other
toys.
thing. Yeah, there's so.
And if you go to Target, it's true.
We are raising the red flag of doubt.
Yeah.
But other people on the internet have been raising the red flag of doubt that because Hasbro doesn't have a lot of confidence in the show, they're hesitating putting a lot of effort into the toys. There's been problems with the release date on the toys. The show has been on the air for about 6 weeks now.
A little longer, actually.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And yet there's, in many parts of the country, there's hardly any Rebels merchandise out.
Sure.
Right? Which is ridiculous since...
We live in a major metropolis here in Chicago, and I go
down to Target. Star Wars is competing against... not like Star Wars Rebels is competing against a Star Wars movie right now. So, like, if you go down the toy aisle, Star Wars has shelf space.
Yeah.
Throw the Rebel shit up there, right?
No Rebel shit to throw.
There is nothing.
No. There's the little miniatures. I've seen those.
I have not... Oh, I've
seen the masks. I've seen an Inquisitor mask.
Okay.
And an Ezra mask.
I've seen lightsabers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen
hockey players. Keep making that Pixies reference.
Obscure Pixie reference.
Sorry, yeah, it's stupid.
I have seen like 12-inch figures, nice. Like a set, right? A set of them. Yeah. Like of all the main characters.
I think the price points are very odd this time out.
It's like $80 for like a Stormtrooper, Ezra, Kanan, the Inquisitor, and like a Jawa. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, it's not even all the main characters of Rebels.
I'm saving all of my Inquisitor comments for the Rebels Roundup episode.
Sure.
I just...
save it.
Man.
Save it.
Man, because you just, like... You look at the excess of Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Remember watching The Phantom Menace and it's being like, oh, man, double lightsabers? We're going a little over the top.
Yeah, right.
Well, Jesus. Well, that
now
seems positively puritanical compared to the Inquisitor.
Well, wait. A Force Awakens. You've seen the lightsaber for Force Awakens, right?
I've seen
the hilt?
supposedly
The hilt
thing.
The hilt?
Yeah,
that has the little tiny lightsabers
yeah.
coming out of it, so you can stab people with them.
Yeah, well, yeah, or if you're trying to cut my hand off, say,
right.
Luke actually could have used that, Ron. There's a somewhat practical element to that. This spinning, bullshitty.
We should save this for Rebels Roundup, but you.
Let's I opened the can of worms.
Inquisitor. No.
Oh,
lightsabers.
No? Oh, okay.
You brought this up to me, and I was honestly trying to avoid it, but you brought it up to me, and you're like, "Oh, did you catch this one on Rebels?" There's a little dial on the lightsaber that controls the length of the blade.
Yeah, you can make it as long or short as you need.
So if you want, if you want a light machete, if you want a light paring knife,
yeah, totally need a paring.
You can adjust it for whatever length you want.
Yeah, whatever you need.
Like that doesn't seem.
It's like so that's canon because that's what I said. Like
right.
When I spotted that, I was just like, whoa. So you can do that?
like Han, who has never used a lightsaber before, like he turns it on and cuts a tauntaun open. Couldn't he have just? He didn't need to cut it open with a full length sword. He just could have cut it to
he could have turned it all the way to the lowest setting, Ron. He could have just taken some tauntaun meat and kind of seared it over top the lightsaber.
Right?
Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm fine with I'd like to know more about lightsabers, and that's not a horribly offensive thing to me, but it is.
I just don't think they should be adjustable, like a Swiss Army knife or something.
You know what? I think I would feel fine about it if I felt that there was more thought being put into it. And I really just don't I don't even in the early first season episodes of the Clone Wars, I felt like there was thought being put into it all.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
some of the stuff just
let's face it. Okay, so we've seen Phantom Menace. Yeah. There's multiple lightsabers in Phantom Menace. There's many, many, many more lightsabers in Attack of the Clones.
Oh, God, yes.
Then we get into Clone Wars, and there's,
lightsaber
60 some
dark
episodes.
Sabers.
60 some episodes in the Clone Wars cartoon series.
Yes.
And then we get Revenge of the Sith. Yeah. More lightsabers, right? Yeah. And then finally we get Rebels, and they're like, oh, they're adjustable. Like, none of these other Jedi knew that they were adjustable. Yeah, we've never seen a adjustable lightsaber until Kanan is like, oh, this little dial here, you can adjust it.
See, it's times like this where I wish that George Lucas was still in charge of the whole thing, because he would go back and make a special edition and try and fix Revenge of the Sith so that someone could be like, hey, turn down your lightsaber, mace.
George Lucas.
Whoa, that thing's bright. Turn it down.
George Lucas is rolling in his grave right now. Oh, wait.
Well, no. Save that for our next Misery Row. Okay, so that's a kind of a brief Rebels roundup right now. Basically, we're unhappy where it's going.
We're frustrated, and we think there's retooling.
There's some retooling going on, hopefully, and honestly, all I've said could be washed away with 7 more fantastic episodes. If there were 7 episodes that were just or even one that was just phenomenal.
Just one great episode.
I could be like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we're still within the realm of I can bounce back. 7 or 8 episodes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we didn't. Clone Wars didn't take off until 7 or 8 episodes into it.
Yes, exactly.
We could still be there, but I'm
just not feeling the commitment.
We're not feeling the commitment. Not feeling it.
Yep.
Dave Filoni, you need to get on this.
Yep. And one more thing. There's all these moments. They put in these artificial, transcendental moments in almost every episode, where they'll put in a moment where, Ezra summons the Force or something, and he just does something that's super OP, just overpowered.
Oh,
and
really? I haven't really.
And he'll do
seen his.
And things will just be peaceful, and it's and the camera will pull back, and you're supposed to be like, oh wow, we're experiencing a you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just oh, you know what? You know when that's good to do? Your season finale. Save it up, guys.
Save it up.
Yeah. Don't pull your loads away.
Yeah.
Okay, so could bounce back.
Hoping it does.
Moving on with the Trail of Hate. Star Wars comics.
Comic books. Marvel comic books.
Marvel
They're not
comics.
even out yet.
Yeah.
Not even out yet.
Wow.
They're not coming out until 2015, right?
Okay, yeah. So
We've
here's the deal.
seen previews.
I don't buy any Marvel or DC comics currently. Okay. Marvel comics in particular feel very much like a product to me, and I honestly can't read more than a couple of them in a row before I'm like, I'm kind of bored, and I could do something else. That's my own personal.
And JP, you're the comic book guy of the SW Dog show.
You know what? I've been reading comics at this point for 20 some odd years.
You have your own comic.
Very niche thing. I'm set in my ways.
Yeah.
I'm set in my ways.
Yeah. Me, I am more on the periphery.
Yes. I'm very set in my ways, so don't take what I just said to mean anything. If you enjoy these comics, please continue to enjoy them.
Right.
So the Star Wars comics, though, was kind of a moral thing for me, because I was like, well, am I going to do this? Am I going to just buy every Star Wars comic? And I was like, well, it's going to be $20 a month, maybe more. It turns out all these first issues are $5, by the way.
Oh, my God.
Which I think is nuts.
Yeah, that's rape.
But,
rape.
Yeah. Then my childhood. Again.
Marvel is raping my childhood.
Bill Cosby, get out of here.
Raping my wallet.
But, yeah, the Star Wars comics, here's the problem, is they just don't look good. They look bad. I love John Cassidy.
How so?
Well, I think John Cassidy's are actually looking the best.
Okay.
Because I think John Cassidy's a great artist.
So we've seen a preview of Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Darth Vader 1, Darth Vader.
Actually, hold on. Sorry. I need to back it up because I can't throw out broad statements like that. I think all three artists, Salvador LaRocca, who's Terry Dodson?
Okay.
Terry Dodson, Salvador LaRocca, and John Cassidy are all fantastic artists.
Those are the artists on the issue.
Princess Leia, Star Wars, and Darth Vader.
Okay.
Salvador LaRocca is doing Darth Vader.
And that's what we've seen covers and maybe previews for.
I'll be honest, that one to me was the most offensive just because it looked...
Darth Vader.
Yeah. It looked very Greg Pak style, light traced.
So
you see Darth Vader...
We've seen covers for some like variant covers on a lot of the issues.
Yep.
I don't think we've seen Princess Leia variants, have we? Okay.
Yep. I don't know variants, but we've just seen the cover.
We've seen the cover.
Yeah.
But we've seen variants for Star Wars, the official Star Wars, and then we've seen variants for Darth Vader covers.
Yep.
Which are fine. They seem decent.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Yeah, as far as Star Wars product go, yes.
At least for number one. And then we've seen interior preview pages.
Yeah, and don't forget the Alex Ross cover for Star Wars 1. Which,
which is the Vader.
Homage to the original Star Wars number 1 in Marvel.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But
I've heard a lot of criticism about that, which I didn't agree with.
Alex Ross also did a variant cover for Vader.
Oh, cool. I didn't spot that one.
Yeah.
Nice.
But we've seen interior preview pages for Darth Vader 1.
Yes, right? We've seen field hockey players.
And
I don't know why he brings that into it. It's so silly. But yes, we've seen interior previews for Darth Vader.
And it's Vader walking into Jabba's palace.
Yeah, and it's an exact mirror of the Return of the Jedi scene. I understand that it's supposed to be
pretty darn close.
Yes. Well, yes. You have what's his name?
Like I did the Bib Fortuna.
You have Bib Fortuna greeting someone, looking scared, like recoiling.
Yeah.
And then you see Darth Vader walk into the main hall.
Yeah.
And it's
we see Bib Fortuna wake Jabba because Jabba's asleep.
And you see Darth Vader is in the center of Jabba's hall, and every character that's in Return of the Jedi in the Jabba's palace scene is in. Not only are they in the palace, they're in the exact same places they are in the palace.
So maybe not a trace, but they're definitely looking at the movie.
I saw you post this on Facebook, and I was very glad you did.
Yeah.
There were some responses that were along the lines of, doesn't look like an exact trace. And they're trying to say that it's more of it's meant to be making kind of a comparison. His son walks here later.
Right. But the population of Jabba's palace is the exact same population that was there when Luke was there, and the time frame is different.
And they all hang out in the same spot.
Same spots, like Dengar.
It sounds like we're getting really hung up on something trivial, but like my overall point is, it just smacks of laziness.
Right.
Like you could say it's the same place, but have people doing different things.
Yeah, there's
Salvador Larroca's a better artist than that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. It's open to creative license, and they're not using it.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I mean, like, so Dark Horse got a lot of criticism from certain circles.
Yeah.
Because, you know, a lot of their Star Wars comics, some of them were just ugly towards the end.
Sure.
You know, I mean, Darth Maul, son of Dathomir, is pretty phoned in.
Sure.
And so when Marvel comes back, and they have behind them a long history of fantastic Star Wars comics with Howard Chaykin artwork, with artwork by Al Williamson, one of the greats, all kinds of just fantastic artists, and then they put these guys on it, and it looks like jobber work.
So
it looks like it's worked just by jobbers.
So what I know about,
except for the cover, one of the covers by that you just showed me by Cassidy, which I think he's actually trying to deliver something special.
So what I know about comic books is anytime you have a licensed property, which is basically something that is, you know, either a TV show or a movie that is translated into a comic book. Mm-hmm. Typically, it is bad.
Like
it's
redhead
bad,
stepchild.
right? It's bad, right? Like,
you
know, there's always issues of,
Yes.
you know, like there's a Buffy comic book, you know, that is actually continuing the seasons.
Oh man, you better watch out.
Right.
Those people.
But I mean, I'm actually using this as a good example.
Oh,
like,
thank God. I thought they were
like when you have a very popular TV show, you have actor likenesses.
Oh yeah,
right. The tendency is to basically kind of hit pause on your DVD and sketch out that actor for your comic book.
Well, and a lot of these things, not these Star Wars comics, I don't think, but a lot of comics have deals where actors can sign off on their likenesses, or their management camp can.
Right.
Like Star Trek comics suffered from that for years.
Sure.
And so what that does is it kills the creativity of the artist.
Right.
Because then they literally are having to like light trace and shit.
Right. Right.
And
so I think
whenever you see like Jean-Luc Picard like drawn like accurate,
yeah,
it kind of looks gross sometimes.
Sure. It also, I mean,
you have to take liberties with this stuff.
I think that's what the Buffy comic book does. Is it does take liberties, and as it progresses, it's not like you're seeing Sarah Michelle Gellar,
3-named girl,
right? Like you're not seeing her on the page anymore. You're seeing like the artistic rendition of Buffy. You're not seeing the artistic rendition of the actress.
Yeah, Google
Buffy,
Howard Chaykin's Han Solo.
Yeah,
and it's fantastic because it looks dead on like Han
the
Solo.
Essence of Han Solo,
nothing like Harrison Ford.
Right.
Yes.
I think one of the, I mean, to get a little bit sidetracked here, but like I think one of the really gross examples of this I seen once was like where they've inserted actors into characters that were never portrayed by those actors. So like there's a run of like Spider-Man, where Norman Osborn is drawn to look like Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh,
and literally traced with Tommy Lee Jones's face.
Sure,
but he has like cornrows.
Nice,
right? And I'm like it takes you out of the comic once you're like, you know, you're not watching this. You're not engaged in the story at that point. You're like, oh, you know, how close is it? Does it look like the actor? Or,
there's a lot of like trickery that has to happen to make everything work. Like, I mean, if you look at Brian Hitch and Paul Neary's run on Ultimates, you know, I mean, which I think is the template for the Avengers movies, you know, because those were the guys who did. They actually, you know, this is Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury,
right?
You know,
right?
They even have like in jokes about it, like they say it in dialogue and stuff. That stuff is photorealistic, but not truly. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, it's like, if you look at it really, it's like there's elements being played up and played down. There's an element of caricature to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like,
yeah.
And that's artistry. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
but when
like,
you're looking at,
but when you're light
Vader standing in Jabba's palace, it's not traced off.
It's not
of
traced.
The off of the, you know, somebody hitting pause on the DVD or whatever. Like, it's not traced off of there, but it doesn't look any different from what we're seeing on screen.
And art's very subjective. I'm sure someone out there will just think this is the bee's knees, and I hate to rain on someone's parade, but to me it just looks a little lazy.
Yeah,
it looks a little
like
lazy.
The artists
and I want whoever is
truly creative.
Because the thing is, if you look at those 70s comics, you're seeing artists who are excited by the material.
Yeah,
they're excited to be doing the Star Wars
they're
comic.
Totally not getting the character models.
Or alternately, they might not be excited. Like, Al Williamson might not have been excited to do a Star Wars comic. But you know what he was? A goddamn old school professional.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And he knew how to bring the magic, regardless of if he was into it or not.
Right.
And I just don't feel like that. And the reason I'm so upset is because like Darth Vader was the one I was most excited about.
Yeah.
At this point, to go spin it to a positive place, the one now, the order's totally flipped for me now. What I'm most excited by is probably Princess Leia, because it's got...
I haven't seen anything on that.
I haven't seen anything yet either, but Terry Dodson is a really good artist.
Right.
And he's not trying to draw Carrie Fisher, that's for sure.
Sure.
And...
well, you mentioned, I may have cut you off on this, but the cover for Star Wars issue number 2.
Yes.
John Cassaday.
Yeah.
You know, Han Solo and Chewbacca kind of hiding behind this.
That looks
this
great.
machinery, and there's a army of stormtroopers coming
They're
in
off
with
model
Darth Vader.
and
It looks.
It's weird. It's a weird composition.
It's a weird composition.
Yeah.
But at least there's some creative liberties being
That's
taken.
all I want to see.
Yeah.
All I want to see is them being
It doesn't look
creative.
like we're just like, oh, that's the scene from Empire.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
that's the
Oh,
scene
hey,
from
that's a
Jedi.
shot of
No,
that character
It looks
I
like
know.
it looks like something new, and that's what we want is something new.
Exactly. Like, give me the Cam Kennedy artwork back in the day from Dark Empire. Like,
Exactly.
when the first 5 years of Dark Horse's license on Star Wars is all great British artists. It's fantastic work. So that's all I'm saying is...
I will say this. When Dark Empire came out, and I was reading it, you know, back in the 90s, I did not appreciate that.
Sure.
Because
you're like, it doesn't look like the characters.
At that time, I was like, well, it doesn't look like the characters, right? Mm-hmm. But now Star Wars has been, absent, from, the movies at least for
and you've grown
20 years, right?
Yeah.
Like now, give us I don't want to see them just regurgitate what has already been out there. Give us something new. Give us,
Well, also, guess what? It's no longer the responsibility of the comics to carry on and fill in for the movies. We're going to have movies. We're going to have cartoons.
Right.
What the comics need to do is really good goddamn comics.
Right.
And I think right now, if I'm looking at it, I think the best opportunity is probably the Princess Leia book. I think Terry Dodson and Mark Waid is a hell of a writer, so that's probably going to be solid. Followed by Jason Aaron and John Cassaday's Star Wars, the titular launched the hub, because even though that first preview I saw looked like, because he was really trying to nail the Harrison Ford likeness, and it just doesn't play because he's got a hard face to draw, but I think he's got it figured out that second issue, so I'm looking forward to checking that out.
Sure.
Darth Vader, Salvador Larroca is a hell of an artist, and I hope he dials it up. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know what? Might have caught him on a deadline week,
Maybe.
You never know.
I don't know.
So, once again, positive silver lining, just giving out our words of warning to Marvel that we won't tolerate that kind of shit.
We're on you, Marvel.
Yeah, we're on you all day. So,
right.
Well, Ron, I mean, I don't really have a lot of other stuff.
I have a couple things.
Oh, well, please.
I have, as much as we're screaming that we want something new.
Yeah.
Right? I think that I'm getting the feeling just by things that I've been seeing online that 2015 is going to be the year of not something new.
Well, okay.
Okay?
Sure.
We're getting a new Star Wars movie.
Right.
I think it's going to feel very much like an old Star Wars movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah, I mean, that's what they keep saying. OT,
right?
OT.
We're getting a new Peanuts movie. Okay? We got the trailer for Snoopy's Peanuts. Right?
Snoopy's Peanuts? Finally?
Yeah.
They're going to show it?
We've been screaming for this, right? We've been screaming for, why haven't they made a new Peanuts movie?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
CGI Peanuts movie. Right?
Yes.
But it looks like an old school Peanuts cartoon. Just with a little bit more shading.
Oh, a shaded Peanuts. That's great.
Yeah, shaded Peanuts. Grow up.
Okay, yeah. Yes.
Right? And I'm getting
I haven't
this
watched that
sinking.
trailer yet.
It's fine, but it feels like a Peanuts cartoon. It doesn't feel like anything new,
No.
right?
Well, what are you going to add to the Peanuts?
I don't know, but why are
paradigm?
they making it then? Like, it's all
Because people
nostalgia
like it.
for nostalgia's
Yeah.
sake.
Well, why do they keep making Scooby-Doo cartoons?
They don't, do they?
Yeah.
I thought they
Oh,
ended
yeah,
those.
it always comes out. They always out. WWE
I don't
made the
know.
last one.
I'm just getting this sinking feeling that 2015 is going to be a year of capitalizing on our nostalgia.
You know, I feel like we've been in that for a while, honestly.
Well, maybe.
Really, since I was in college,
Maybe.
I think it's been like that. Like,
But I think
since Indiana Jones 4. I mean,
But okay, since Indiana Jones 4, but Indiana Jones 4, I think most people will agree with this statement, didn't recapture anything, right?
well, someday we'll have our Indiana Jones 4 episode.
Yeah, someday, right? But I think like what they're trying to refine, and not just Star Wars, but like pop culture in general, the industry in general,
Yes.
is trying to refine how to capture that feeling again,
Right. Yeah.
without giving us something new.
And it's like kind of tragic.
It is tragic.
It's kind of like watching. It's kind of like watching a middle-aged man who's having that crisis.
yeah,
Leave his like wife of 20 years and go with a young hot thing.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Where it's like, do you get what I'm saying with that analogy? Where it's like, it's kind of like, okay, well, let's just freshen up. And it's
Exactly.
Like, and it's like, you can't, not like that. Like you
No,
can't go back like that.
right.
Like movies, I'm sorry, but the industry's changing.
Yeah.
And you can't just rewind and say, hey, remember 1977 and how fucking awesome that was? Let's
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
No, you can't. Sorry. You know what the most tragic thing is about it all? Is that they don't have those smart people focusing their efforts on like how can we blow up these great movies. I just saw this awesome list, and I think it was something like 40 fantastic films that came out in 2014 that you didn't see.
Sure.
And literally, I hadn't seen any of them.
Hadn't seen them, right.
And it was so many of them. Many of them had very big name actors in them.
Yeah.
Who's Loki?
Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston was in a vampire movie this year.
Oh, right.
That was
Jim
by
Jarmusch.
Jim Jarmusch.
Yep.
I didn't see it.
Right.
Where was that?
I heard about it, but
It was
I
on
don't
my
know.
iTunes. I could have bought it there, I guess.
I guess.
But like,
I don't know.
this is
Oh,
this
man.
is the role of advertising, right?
Is that? Wait, I just thought of something.
What's
Like
that?
that's how they're releasing. Like that's how a lot of these like.
They get limited release in iTunes, yeah.
Yeah,
VOD
right,
and
that's
iTunes.
how
Or
a lot
VOD
of-
and limited release, yeah.
Right, that's how a lot of movies get released now. Is like
Yeah, anything that's not a big
video on
tentpole one.
demand.
Yeah.
Right? Are they going to make us? Oh, this would be so awful.
What?
Are they going to make us pay for the trailer?
Well, yeah. Yeah. I bet they. I wouldn't be surprised if they do some kind of Apple deal though.
Oh yeah.
When you
Right?
say bigger,
Yeah.
like going back to that trailer comment,
Yeah.
when they say bigger, I think the U2 thing might be more on the nose than we think.
Oh, I think so too. I think that you're going to open your phone and be like, "Oh, there's the Star Wars."
The
trailer.
question is, and here's the big question: talk about being partisan. Will they make a deal with Apple or Google?
Oh man.
Because I honestly don't feel like you can make a deal with both. Can you?
Disney can do anything.
Okay.
Uh,
So yeah, all I'm saying is, I agree, Ron. That the industry is just it's stuck in this mindset that you're gonna be like, you know what? I hate to bring in this kind of analogy to it. I'm a big World War I fan.
yes.
The biggest thing with World War I was, and the reason it was such a horrible war of attrition, was that both sides were convinced that they could use old school forms of warfare. The idea being like, you make a line, I make a line, and if I break through your line, then I'll win, right?
Sure.
But it just didn't work like that because there was too many. Everyone had too many people, you know.
Right.
So instead, it was just a constant like stalemate. You had to learn how to fight differently, and that's what's not happening right now. They're just trying to be like, if we just get one hit big enough again,
Right.
we can get there again.
Right. We are in a stalemate.
Stalemate.
Exactly.
Thank
Yes.
you. That's the word.
All right. One final thing before we wrap it up. I wanted to get one last thing. Unless you had one more thing.
Well, yeah, we had a fan art thing.
That's what I wanted to get to.
Okay, great.
Yes, I wanted to tie this in. So, We talked about the comics kind of not really moving things forward.
The passion might not be there.
Right.
Professionalism, but no passion.
Right.
Yeah.
We also talked about my being on social media, trying to engage the Star Wars fandom.
Yes, re-experiencing Star Wars fandom, seeing what it's like in 2014.
So I'm connected to a lot of Star Wars groups on Facebook.
Okay.
All right. And two things I want to bring up. A lot of fan art. Okay? Here's the positive one. A lot of fan art.
F-art.
F-art. Fart.
Yeah.
All right? People are doing a lot of great work. I've seen a lot of great work, a lot of different styles, a lot of different mediums.
Sure.
Fans are doing a lot of great Star Wars work. And yet Marvel can't produce, a comic book that has something new to it.
That has good new fresh art.
Go to the fans. They're producing a lot of stuff.
Maybe
drawing Star Wars all the time.
Maybe rather than just pulling a name out of the hat and being like, Salvador's got nothing going on, let's put Salvador on the book.
Yeah, no, let's go on to, what was it,
DeviantArt?
Yeah. Or Behance Network. And,
sure.
Get some new talent in there, because there's people that are passionate about Star Wars that are creating pretty decent artwork on the internet.
Yeah, I think there's an argument there of being on the one hand, it's you've been handed this massive responsibility.
Sure.
You got to deliver the goods monthly. So go dependable, right?
I get that. Sure, I get
that. But
that.
surely, when you come down to the fourth title, when you come down to the Kanan title coming up soon.
Right.
Which, by the way, what's going to happen to that if they get rid of this series?
I don't know.
Huh. Because there's an announced fourth title that's not, we haven't heard a lot about. It's going to cover,
right.
It's going to cover Kanan's adventures in between Padawan and Rebels.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Who cares?
Who gives a fuck?
Right.
Who gives a shit? Who gives a fuck? Right. But surely on the Kanan one, you can bring in the fan art, right?
Yeah, come on.
We need to start growing new talent. I think that's what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right? It's out there. People are passionate about it. Bring them in,
and
mentor them somehow.
It's people who might be passionate about comic art, but not passionate about, say, the Avengers.
Yeah, right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
These are people who actually might give more of a shit about doing a Star Wars comic.
Yeah, right?
Those people are out there.
They are out there. They're all over. I constantly am seeing fan art.
And it seems like their
Facebook.
name is not Salvador LaRocca.
Exactly.
And,
not to point him out. Yeah,
yes,
not
the all my apologies in the world if it was just a tight deadline week.
Right.
Next month, I'm sure he'll prove me.
So that's a positive thing I'm seeing on Facebook. The negative thing about the fandom, the state of fandom on the internet, at least what I'm seeing in my corner of the internet.
All the anonymous hookups.
All the anonymous sex.
It's just disgusting.
No. People, let's talk about Star Wars and not hate on Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just talk. Talk about Star Wars. Don't I'm tired of hearing about people hating on Star Wars.
Yeah, we just spent 20 minutes venting about.
But we're not we're not hating
always
about.
Put a silver lining at.
But we're not hating about the prequels. We're not hating about Jar Jar. People
true.
are just. They can't get past that, right?
Well, my biggest problem, Ron, isn't so much when people have a legitimate problem with something.
Yeah.
It's when they don't necessarily have a real opinion. They're just kind of going with the flow.
Well, that's okay. So there's the real thing that I'm trying to get to on here is there's a lot of people posting in these groups, right?
Certainly,
and they're like, oh, who will win in a lightsaber battle, Luke Skywalker or Darth Maul? Who's your favorite character? What's your favorite movie? Are we can we have a little bit more of an engaging conversation than just favorites and who would win in what fight? There's a big.
Can we have a kindergarten Facebook and grown up Facebook?
Yeah, there's a huge mythology that's been created, the movies, the legends, TV shows. There's a huge mythology.
Yes.
I like talking to intelligent people about Star Wars. We talk, we talk, 90 minutes to 2 hours a day about Star Wars. Hardly do we ever talk about what our favorite characters are, or who would win. I mean, we
that's
never
actually true,
we
Rob.
never talk about like
That's bizarre.
who would win in a lightsaber battle, Darth Maul or Darth Vader.
God, that's weird. We
Right?
don't.
We don't, because that's not an engaging conversation. That's just like, I think Darth Vader would win. Okay, great. I think Darth Maul would win. Like, that's not engaging. Let's raise the level of conversation on the internet, people. Come on. I want to talk to you people, but I don't want to talk about like who my favorite character is, because I like them all equally and I hate them all equally. Like,
No, Anakin's my favorite.
as I make the old man noise.
You make fan noise.
Old man noise. Fan noise.
Yeah, I know. That's a really good point, Ron.
Like, I want to.
That is weird because like I don't talk about Star Wars. I talked about Star Wars to you and like 2 other people,
Right?
And like one's my
Right.
wife, and that's
Right.
me talking at her,
Right.
And yeah, it's true. Like I don't go around talking to a lot of people about it because I generally don't have a good conversation.
Right.
Because you're right.
Like I've joined like every possible Star Wars group that I feel would be worth my while. Right. I'm not into collecting that much anymore, so I'm not going to be like join those, even though
Man,
like, the
I'm
lure
waiting.
is there. The lure is there. Trust me, the lure.
I am waiting for the relapse. So Ron used to be a big time collector. Ron,
Yeah.
Like, how big was your collection?
I
roughly?
sold
Can you
off
give-
my collection to put a down payment on my condo.
So Ron had a problem, and you know
I had a childhood.
he quit. He quit cold turkey. You know, he did his thing. But it's been a while since there's been a movie. When did you sell that collection? Just out of curiosity.
2005.
2005. So shortly after the film's wrapped.
Yeah.
So in lieu of films, you haven't collected. But what do you think's going to happen when a new movie comes out, Ron? Are you going to relapse?
If I relapse, my wife divorces.
Oh God, dude! That is. Stay tuned, folks, because like the next couple of years might get real interesting as we watch Ron turn into a toy junkie. That's what I'm excited
Collector
for.
watch.
Yeah. Oh man,
But
Ron, you haven't shaved in a while, Ron. Ron, are you wearing the same shirt you were in 3 days ago?
where have you been all weekend? Flea market.
Flea market. Was up all night trying to get to the Toys R Us truck before they put them on the shelves.
I drove to Fort Wayne to go to a toy convention.
Oh, well, folks, you know what? If you have any stories about last time you drove to Fort Wayne to get a toy collection, then why don't you just call in at
651
133 SW Dog, otherwise known as
651 337. I don't know the last 4. You got to
you were
hook me
close.
up with the last 4.
1-651-337-9364, or you know what? Make it easy. Get on Facebook at facebook.com/SWDog or Twitter
At SWDog77.
And don't forget to hit us up at the website, delusionsofgranular.com. We got a lot of great updates coming there soon.
Subscribe to us on iTunes or Stitcher. Leave us a review on...
That's right, and
on
Stitcher.
Yeah. And leave us a review on iTunes. We don't think that you're capable of leaving a review on Stitcher, but if you can, go ahead.
Yeah, and yeah, I put a moratorium on begging for iTunes reviews. I got too aggressive, but we'd love to have your iTunes reviews.
That's right. All right, folks.
Hey, and by the way, let's just remember, Ron, we're talking Star Wars.
Talking Star Wars, not hating Star Wars.
Boom. New
All right.
tag, bitches.
All right. You're out.